Gents, next big news topic I want to focus on is something that I think we should check in on throughout the season every month. And that's who is the player of the season right now? Who's the candidates? Who are the leading contenders? I think we have a clear leading contender early in the season. But let's start this conversation and then revisit it throughout the season. I'm going to go ahead and just say that we all agree that Harry Kane is the leading contender right now. I mean, through the first 10 games of the season, he has 7 goals, 9 assists in the Premier League. He's leading Tottenham's charge early in the campaign. What do we think, lads? I mean, Andy, I see you nodding your head. It looks like you agree with that.
Spurs have scored 21 goals in the Premier League this season. Harry Kane has contributed to 16 of them. That's 78%. We're done here.
Yeah.
All right. That was easy. Nick, are there some other players that you there's a lot of players who got high production early in the season, a lot of goals, a lot of contenders. I'm looking at De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes, Son. Who's really leading that pack with Kane for you?
So, yeah, 3 playmakers from 3 big teams with an outside shout to Jack Grealish, who I just don't think Villa's ever going to get the recognition in order to push him up there. And I do think big clubs tend to dominate this. Bruno Fernandes has been sensational. Kevin De Bruyne, I feel like I talk about him all the time. So I'm going to go in the other direction and talk about Mo Salah. I think he's wonderful. And I think because we are a contrarian society who likes to pick the dark horse. You know, last year there was all this talk about Sadio Mane, who was absolutely terrific. But Salah is still just electrifying. He makes so many chances. He gets so many shots. He's an underrated playmaker in terms of passing. I think he is largely responsible for generating what's kept Liverpool in this discussion with all their defensive problems. So I look to Salah. And then I think, Joe, you might be able to point us in the direction of a couple of other Merseyside guys.
Yeah, I was in 2 minds about saying James Rodriguez, but I think even though his production hasn't been that high since the start of the season, it was, I mean, scoring goals and assisting galore when Everton were on top in the early weeks. But even though that's settled down a bit, he is still impacting games and he has just so much quality on the ball. And of course, Calvert-Lewin is benefiting a lot from that and scoring a lot of goals. So those 2 probably have to be in the conversation. Look around, you mentioned Grealish, obviously is leading Aston Villa, even though they've had a bit of a dip as well. Danny Ings has been great for Southampton, even Ward-Prowse, you have to say, has taken his game to a new level. And Wilfried Zaha, I mean, talk about a one-man team. Crystal Palace have missed him a lot since he's been out in recent weeks. So there are a lot of contenders there from teams who are just having good starts to the season. And now you want to see if they can continue that throughout the campaign, right, Andy?
Yeah, and I think another player that I would throw in there who came along a little bit slower to begin, but has really, really warmed up quickly is Diogo Jota from Liverpool as well. Maybe not going to quite get the chances with all the players around him to get into a player of the season conversation. But if you're talking about signing of the season as well, I think easily the way he slotted into that Liverpool team and just looked like one of the guys for the last 4 years, has picked up immediately with them, has been really impressive, and obviously a very astute piece of business from Liverpool there. So probably worth mentioning him, as he is the second leading scorer for the defending champions and the team that are level on points at the top of the table.
Definitely. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Joe. I was just going to say, because I never give this guy credit either, Jamie Vardy is delivering goals pretty much whenever he plays. I think he was leading the expected goals table as well, for me to bring that up one more time. And of course, everyone also considers Alan St. Maximin and John Joe Shelby in this discussion as well.
I thought we were going to get a shout for Steve Bruce there, Nick.
Listen,
Bruce, you never give him credit.
Leader of men, a guy you want to have a pint with, an absolute magician of motivation. Tactics, however, leave something to be desired.
Wow.
You can't have it all.
I didn't think we'd be giving that much praise to Steve Bruce this early in the season, but there we go. That shows just how well they're doing. So this is a conversation we're going to be checking in on throughout the campaign. Be interesting to see you guys watching this in the comments below. Let us know who you think's been the player of the season so far. And we will be updating this probably on a monthly basis, right, guys? After the busy festive period, we'll kind of look back on this and see how those players are doing. But the cream is definitely rising to the top. And those star names are like Bruno Fernandes, Harry Kane, De Bruyne, Salah, Son. They're leading the charge early in the season. And that's been great to see, because the stars are definitely shining in the Premier League so far.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe. Make sure you subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and always join us every weekend at 7 a.m. on NBCSN for Premier League mornings. Plus, make sure you subscribe to Peacock Premium as well, where you can watch exclusively live 175 games and same-day on-demand replays of all 380 Premier League matches as well.